Hey everybody, and welcome back to Life with Lolo. It is time for our weekly recap of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This is season 1, episode 10, and it was titled Hot Water. All right, y'all, before I jump into this recap review, if you are not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified when I drop new videos. And also, if you end up liking this recap review, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for me. All right, y'all, so this episode wasn't a lot going on, as most of them are here lately. But we finally got some closure, maybe, kind of, sort of. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all felt. So it's 10 a.m. We see Seth bringing Meredith a rose and some coffee, and then they're kissing and stuff like that. I love to see how they are rekindling their relationship, their marriage, and stuff like that. You can obviously see that he loves her, she loves him. Like, it feels like it's a blossoming relationship. We really didn't see them too much when it wasn't good, so I can just imagine, we can only just imagine like how it was, but you can see how much he loves her in these scenes and episodes that they're showing. We see Lisa's house. She says after the party she needs to sage herself in the house, so her and her son are doing that. And then we see Heather, who is at work, just making sure the operation is going well. We see Jen, who tells us that she's hurting because her party is ruined. She's upset that Whitney brought it up at the party. And she said that she's embarrassed, she's upset with herself, she's sad with herself, and then she feels alone and she feels depressed. And then she said, especially since her rock, the person that she depends on and talks to every day, the person that helps her in her ups and downs and stuff like that, is not talking to her. So Sharif is not talking to her, and we find out later on that he hasn't talked to her in like 4 days, and he left out the house. So he like left out the house, wasn't talking to her, denying her calls, all of that good stuff. So she is like really going through it right now. And she said it's probably because he's embarrassed because of what went down at the party and stuff. We see Whitney, she goes down to Heather's place of business and talks to her. And Whitney is saying like she has mixed emotions. She's upset, she's mortified, she can't believe like it went that way. She don't understand why Jen is upset with her. Whitney is like she didn't do anything wrong, she had good intentions and all this other stuff, but it was an epic failure. She blamed Heather for jumping in there. Heather's like, yeah, I shouldn't have jumped in there, and they're just kind of talking about the situation. And then Heather is saying like, you didn't want it to blow up, I wanted to let her know what was going on, I was trying to help her, so I guess I did do that wrong. But Lisa and Meredith, they're playing like this mean girl game, and we already know from episode 1 how Heather and Lisa's relationship is, because Lisa is denying that she even knew Heather, and so Heather already feels like Lisa shades her and feels like she's better than everybody. And Lisa's attitude and her, I think that's just Lisa pretty much, minus when it comes to Meredith. Like if you not on her level, she not, yeah. But not giving her any passes or anything like that. But what I'm saying is I don't think it's towards Heather particularly. I think it's everybody minus Meredith and her other friends that are high up there on the totem pole. But I don't feel like she feels like any of the other girls that's on the show are on her level, so that's how she treats them. So I don't think it's like just targeted to Heather, but Heather feels like it's targeted to her. What else, child? So Heather was like, we're just trying to let her know that they're not your friends, like we're your friends. And so Heather feels like her relationship with Jen is being targeted because, or not targeted, but it could be broken up because of Meredith and Lisa, because she feels as though Jen is trying to get on that status that Lisa and Meredith hold. And I can kind of see that. But I think Jen just wants to be like in the bubble and people surround her versus being on the same level as Lisa and Jen. But that's what Heather feels as though. What else, child? And then she wants to know why Jen is so thirsty for Meredith and Lisa's love. I said, oh, don't use that word. My thing is, Whitney had good intentions, but that was the wrong place, wrong time, especially when alcohol was involved. Everybody's just trying to have a good time at this party. It should have been on a sober level. Like, I understand where Whitney said, like, how she was talking to her friend Sarah, and Sarah, little T on that, she was up at the Capitol, child. Y'all know what happened at the Capitol July 6th. She was up there. And word on the curb was she was supposed to be a main character, and Mary was supposed to be a friend of the show, but they swapped it, and now she is a friend of the show, and Mary is a main character. I said, But anyway, back to this. So Whitney, she went in with thinking that, okay, Jen is going to be a little less angry because it's her husband's party. She's much nicer when she's around Sharif, and yada, yada, yada. But she did not take into account, like, alcohol, loud music. We're just trying to have a good time. She's having a rocky man. Like, she didn't consider all of these things. So she should have waited to tell this child, not this child. She should have waited to tell Jen the information that she had later. Maybe sit down with her, like, at a bar, not a bar, because alcohol. At the spa. She could have let her know at the spa. Boom. We're gonna get to the spa later. Anyway, we see Meredith and Seth. They're in their bedroom, and he gave her some ski goggles. He want to have sex with the ski goggles and snow. She like, what about heels and ski goggles? He was like, make it happen. Say less. So then we see Meredith talk to Seth about the party. So then we see Lisa talking to her husband about the party, and is his name John? What is her husband's name? And then we see Jen talking about the party to her assistant. So everybody's talking about the party. Meredith and Lisa are saying it's a bunch of he say, she say stuff. Seth is trying to understand it. Lisa believes that Whitney is lying. And Jen just can't believe that Whitney even did that. And she's pretty much over Whitney, because what went down. And Lisa, of course, she's shading Whitney, talking about she should work less on her dance moves and more so how to be an adult. I was like, girl, she's talking about it was inappropriate for her to be twerking and there's somebody's husband there. It was a party. Like, if she don't get, I do not like Lisa. I don't like her. And then Meredith is saying we're telling Seth how somebody was spreading rumors about their relationship. And she was saying, like, she doesn't understand that. And if they are doing that, then she just needs to cut it off because that's not good, especially since they're working on their marriage and stuff like that. So that was pretty much all that went on in there. It was, how they just kind of break up and tell the story of how the party happened and their vision and all that other stuff. We see Mary, she in her closet / bedroom, and what Whitney said, when she said she was a hoarder of costly stuff, that's facts. She's talking about something. She's going to get an apartment for her clothes alone. And then they showed, like, other rooms in her house where it was just jam-packed with clothes, and it's just cluttered. Like, ugh, girl. But she want to keep buying stuff. I think she does that. She might be like a shopaholic, a hoarder, or it makes her feel good to buy those things because maybe she didn't have them when she said she had them when she was younger because her grandma used to take her to Dillard's, and I don't understand. She got a lot of stuff. It's just too much. Anyway, Whitney calls her and FaceTimes her or whatever, and Meredith got stuck in one of her belts. I'm just like, she don't really have no storyline because nobody is talking to her. Nobody is really involving her in anything. And then this was the only scene that she was in, pretty much talking to Whitney. And Whitney was telling her, like, what went down. Like, Jen blew up. I tried to tell her at the party, and she blew up. And even Mary was like, that was not the time nor the place to be telling her or whatever. Like, I wouldn't even have done that. But so then Whitney is like, well, I just want to get clarity on what you were telling me. I just want to be clear. I was like, girl, well, you should have did that before you told Jen, but what have you. Mary stuck to her story. She like, I talked to them on the phone. They told me that they were scared of Jen. And so Whitney is like, well, they're denying it. They're saying that that's not what they said. They saying they didn't even talk to you or whatever. And she was like, well, that don't even surprise me. Like, but I wouldn't lie about something like that. Mary is telling us that they're all scared of her and they just won't, not her. They're all scared of Jen, but they just won't say it. And I mean, I don't know, but I think they're scared of her reaction because she can blow up like that and nobody knows like where it's coming from or whatever. So I believe that they are scared of her reaction, but not so much of her per se, but how she may react to a certain situation. I can definitely see them being scared of her and how she'll react, because who knew she was going to be blowing up at the party like that? She just blew up at Whitney's 20s party. Then she blow up at her own damn part. Like, she just blow up. So you just never know if she gonna just snap off on you or it's gonna be a civil conversation. So I can understand if they said they were scared of her like that. And not so much like they scared of her like she gonna do something to them or something like that. So maybe it was on along those lines. But I don't really feel like Mary was lying, but I feel like it was taken out of context or something like that. Mary tells Whitney to call Jen and talk to her and let her know like how she's feeling and stuff like that. She said, I'm gonna send you some prayers and stuff because you know, you just never know. And then we see Heather. She's looking at her new place, like the business. I told you she was expanding her business a couple episodes ago, so she's just checking that place out. And her friend is telling, I don't know if that's her business partner too, but she's telling her like, look, we need to start taking a salary since we're expanding and everything like that. And Heather was like, yeah, this would be the first time I ever took a salary, because typically I was just paying. She said when she started 5 years ago, she was paying people out of her pocket to make payroll and stuff. So this will be the first time she'll ever be able to make a salary from her business. And her ex-husband will be excited because I guess she's getting alimony from him, so then he can stop paying her alimony and then put the money into whatever he has going on and stuff like that. Child, when they showed them old pictures of that man, I was like, that's the same man? Because he looked totally different. He looked different. I'm like, is that the same man? I'm like, So maybe back in the day he was alright looking, cute or whatever, but today, he looked like a dweeb. But anyway, she said that she has a lot of confidence and uses her voice in her business, but when it comes to her everyday life, she finds it hard to use her voice or build her confidence. And in a way that this divorce was a blessing to her, because if she never got divorced from him, she wouldn't have been able to open up this business and be as successful as she is. So then we see Meredith and Seth and Lisa and her husband. They're going to dinner, and basically Meredith and Seth, I mean, you could just feel the love coming off of them. It's just the way Meredith just looking at him and he looking at her, like you could just see it. And they're basically taking them out to dinner just to tell Lisa and her husband that they are reconciled in their marriage, that they are married now, because remember they were separated, so now she can say easily that they are married. So I was just like, yay for them. And then, of course, they brought up the party again and how the rumors about Meredith and her husband. Lisa was saying, like, she don't really believe it because Whitney was bringing up the whole Mary thing, and that was a lie. So she doesn't believe that the rumors are true, or what Whitney said about the rumors are true. But if Jen was spreading stuff like that, then, like, what kind of friend are you? And she pretty much done with them. Then we see Whitney and Heather. They're going to meet Jen at this spa. So if you saw the episode, you know why I said spa, because it looked like it was in the middle of nowhere. Jen said it was 3 hours away from where they live in Salt Lake. And it looked like it was run down. It looked like it was like an old Western, like, I don't know. It was just run down. It didn't look like it was a spa. It did not look like it was a spa. The dog, when they came in, I was like, is he alive or whatever? But then he got up and started walking around. So I was like, oh, okay, he alive. And then the lady had a dog in her shirt. I was just like, what is going on? But at any rate, Jen, when Jen got there, she was looking like they trying to kill me. I think they're trying to kill me out here. Like, this is what they're trying to do. Cause it looked like it was run down. She got her fur on. She looked like she didn't want to take the fur off, but then she finally took the fur off. They had to go up some hill to go to it looked like it was a hot spring up there, but then it was like tubs. It was weird because it was like, at first I thought it was like this open hot spring, and I was like, oh, okay, because some of those places do look run down, but it, the hot spring is beautiful and stuff like that. But it was like the hot spring was running into 3 separate tubs or something. It was weird, child. But Jim was like, these tubs look dirty. I'm keeping my shoes on. I was like, you keeping your shoes on, but you going to sit in it? What? If it's that dirty, what? Keeping your body is submerged in the girl, stop. It's just like, okay. But anyway, they get in the hot tub and stuff, and then Whitney brings up what happened, and she says that she had good intentions. She apologizes. She didn't mean to ruin the party and stuff. And she was just like, it was Heather, and then not Mary. Why did I say Mary? Jen was like, well, it really wasn't you, Heather. It was how Whitney came. And then she was telling them how, look, you knew this was special. You knew how I haven't thrown a birthday party for Sharif in 25 years. Like, this really meant something to me to throw this for him. And for you to bring that up at the party was uncalled for. Like, you should have came at me like a girlfriend any other time and told me what was happening versus doing it at the party. Whitney wants to defend herself on why she did it. She's not really listening to what Jen is saying. Jen is telling her, like, look, I get all of that, but you shouldn't have did it at that party. Like, that was the wrong time. Now, my husband's not talking to me. He's mad at me. We haven't spoken in 4 days and all this other stuff. And Whitney is still on it, like, but your reaction and yada, yada, yada. And Heather is like in the middle, because she in the middle tub. And she like, look, everybody takes a responsibility in their part in this. And what happened. Like, Whitney takes the responsibility for her. I take responsibility for me. Jen, you need to take responsibility. She was like, no, I'm not wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm like, girl, everybody was wrong. Whitney was wrong for bringing it up at the party. Heather was wrong for just being like, girl, these bitches talking ish about you. She was wrong in that. Jen was wrong on how she reacted, because that reaction was, I mean, in her head, it was called for, but it really wasn't called for. All the screaming, the throwing of the glass, the calling a liar, all this stuff, it was unnecessary. So take into consideration on why your husband is mad at you, because you kirked off. Like, if you didn't scream, yell, or anything like that, he wouldn't be mad. If you would just be like, you know what? Look, tell me later, girl. I don't, this ain't the time or place. So, calmly, or let's go outside. Let's talk about this. Something of that nature. He wouldn't be mad. Like, it just really shouldn't have happened. But if Whitney, I can understand what she's saying. If Whitney didn't bring it up at the party, none of that other stuff would have happened, and we wouldn't be having this conversation right here and right now. So I get Jen's frustration. However, everybody in that situation, because it occurred, needs to take responsibility for their part in the blow up. That's what Heather was saying. That's what Whitney was trying to get across. But Jen, she really wasn't hearing it, because it's like, everything was effed up. Everything is effed up, and this is your fault, basically. She doesn't want to take responsibility for what she did. Then Heather, because then Jen, because I guess Whitney rolled her eyes or something. She was like, you roll your eyes again, I will drown you. I said, not drown her. Ooh. And then she started throwing water at the camera people. So now you blowing up again. And so then she gets out the tub. She storms off. And Heather's like, where you going? Like, get back in the tub. Let's talk about this. And then Heather tells her, like, she's terrified of losing Jen's friendship. She tells us that she has PTSD from her relationship where she just held stuff in. She didn't say anything because she if she wasn't to get along or go along with the thing, then people will leave her basically. So as soon as she put her foot down with her ex-husband, he decided to leave. So she feels as though if she puts her foot down with Jen, that Jen's going to leave her friendship. So she needs to get therapy to kind of work that all out, because everybody is not that way. So she's afraid to use her voice basically. So she just goes along with it and she loses herself in a friendship and all that other stuff, because she's not using her voice the correct way. Whitney goes over and apologizes to Jen. Jen says she forgives her, but she really is not going to let it go because of what happened, because her marriage is not on track. Then we see Lisa. She has like a intimate dinner at this yurt, and she has like bloggers there. Meredith is there, of course. Some other people, a lot of business women. They were just kind of talking over Lisa's vodka and some dinner. It was nice. It was cute for what it was. Then we see Jen. So her husband finally comes home. He sits down and she's nervous about what he wants to talk about because he's been gone for 4 days and she feels as though he's going to leave her or whatever. And that is a stressful thing to go through. I understand exactly where she's coming from on that. But he says that he's upset with her, and because she's like, well, I don't understand why we haven't spoken. He was saying, well, I was upset, and when I'm upset, it wasn't the proper time for me to talk to you or whatever. But you stressing her out. Like, that's unnecessary. He says that he said the party was good. He had a good time. But the main thing that made him upset was the fact that she was drinking. And he was saying, like, why was you drinking? Because when you drink, you become angry and things get elevated and stuff. And she tells him, like, look, I was trying to numb the pain. And he was like, numb what? She was like, I'm depressed. I'm trying to numb stuff. I am alone. Like, you are not here. I cannot do this anymore. I'm still grieving my father. You weren't there when I was in the hospital, when my dad was dying. I had to pull the plug by myself. I had to make all these decisions. You weren't there. The funeral, you weren't there. Like, I've been by myself and I cannot keep doing this by myself anymore. So she lays it down for him and she lets him know, like, I need you. I've been supporting you all this time in your recruiting and coaching and stuff like that, but now I need you. So she pleads and she crying and stuff, and he understands. He apologizes. He said he went through a dark time when he stopped playing football, and he's not ashamed of her the same way she wasn't ashamed of him. He's like, he's going to do better. She apologizes. He apologizes. They both are very understanding of each other's needs. And he said, like I said, he said he's going to do better. She said she wants to do better. They kind of, hold hands, look in each other's eyes, say they love each other. He gives her kisses and hugs and stuff. And then the episode went off. I believe they're going to make it work or whatever, especially because he now knows. He said he didn't know what was going on with her because she didn't articulate it. She didn't communicate it. She was just holding it in and numbing it and just expecting him to know, like, look, I need you. And he's not a mind reader. You got to tell him what you need. Otherwise, it's just going to go down south. You're going to sabotage your own relationship. So by her getting it out and putting it on the forefront, I believe that it's going to strengthen their relationship and they should be able to move forward. And hopefully he'll reduce his hours or whatever, or maybe they have enough saved where he doesn't have to work. Like, who knows? But hopefully they'll figure it out and build and strengthen their relationship. But anyway, y'all, that was the episode. Y'all let me know what y'all felt about it down there in them comments. If y'all ended up liking this review recap, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell to be notified when I drop new videos. All right, y'all. Until next time. Peace.